Well, welcome to another edition of the Rogers Capital Market Commentary, where we attempt to be the antidote to water cooler wisdom. No need to adjust your screens. If this ridiculous coat doesn't tip you off, I'm full of the Christmas spirit. It's that time of year, right? The final months of the year, November and December, of course, season of thankfulness and celebration. This year, there's of course an abundance of reasons to be grateful, at least in my opinion. The first is the state of the economy, remarkably strong despite persistent headwinds. Case in point, the GDP economic growth measure notched quarter over quarter increases in all but one quarter, all the way back to June of 2020. So great, nice, one foot in front of the other economic growth. Household net worth is up and surging, in fact, driven by gains in investments and in real estate. From June of 2022 through this past month that we have, last month that we have data, October anyway, inflation has cooled substantially from 9.1 down to 2.6. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey has actually surged as well from 50 to 70 and a half. So resilient consumers really enjoying robust purchasing power, reduced inflation, lower gas prices, a lot of that likely to power this Christmas season shopping. Black Friday and Cyber Monday, in fact, data indicates strong start to the shopping season, up 10% Black Friday year over year, and up 7.3% Cyber Monday year over year. As a result of record-breaking bull market performance, the Fed interest rate cuts, political clarity finally post-election. Following the election, even I think some optimism that an administration that may reduce taxes, likely cut regulations, all of this driving stock performance, economic performance. In fact, more optimism permeating the U.S. financial markets than we've had in a while. So in the wake of the election, investors sent the S&P surging, exploding 6% in the month of November, 6% in a month. For decades, you've heard me say 7%, 8%. That's a good year. That's what we're trying to do in a year. We did 6% in a month in stocks. Recent data from Bloomberg show that the S&P earnings expectations for this year have now increased to 9.77%. And next year, the expectation is even better, 12.88%. And what is it that drives markets? I can't hear you. That's right. Profits, earnings. That's what Wall Street pays for. So lots to be optimistic about on that end as well. Some additional stats for you. I'm going to give you 5. Number 1, in the last 40 years, when we've been up at least 20% going into the election, like we were this year, that's happened 10 times. 9 of the 10, we were also even higher in the following month, the month of December. Number 2, the current bull market that we're in now is 26 months old. And it's up a little over 70%. In the last 50 years, bull markets that have made it this far, 26 months, that's happened 12 times, have gone on and lasted many more years. In fact, 12 out of 12, the bull keeps running. Number 3, after a plus 5% in the month of November, the next year that follows, you average almost 13% average, and over 3/4 of the time, it's positive. So both better than average annual returns. Number 4, a year ago, we saw huge increase in stocks hitting new 20-day highs. The S&P had been up. In fact, we looked at the stat. When that had occurred, S&P had been up a year later 15 out of 15 times. That was the stat a year ago. Well, you can make it 16 for 16 because we have done that again. And 5, I noted in January that after a 20% gain in a year, a stock market year, the following year is usually better than average. Well, here we are. We're at plus 27 as of the making of this video. What's unique is back-to-back 20% years, with a year in year 2 that was better than the 20% year in year 1 that's only happened once, and that was in 1996. What was going on in 96? Well, that was the early days of the raging bull tech market, the dot-com explosion. Okay, year 2 of 5, in fact, which is interesting, to me at least, given how AI has driven and like tech stocks and chip stocks have driven the surge of the S&P, the growth of the S&P in the last couple of years. Kind of an interesting comparison. So there's 5 interesting stats for you. As we look to 2025, I remain cautiously optimistic. And so next month, I'll roll out the 2025 outlook. I'm titling it Pragmatic Optimism. Until then, wishing you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Hope you and your family enjoy great times, and we'll see you in 2025.